The law of what? Gravity. You observe it. It's a relationship that's variable in the same conditions. I have dropped balls in Chile. I've dropped balls in Brazil. I've dropped balls in England. You've dropped things. You've dropped your keys. It always falls. Okay? This morning, probably most of you took advantage of the law of gravity. You took a shower. The water went down the drain. Aren't you glad it went down rather than up? That's a law. Okay, now, a theory is something different. A theory is an explanation as to why does the ball drop. Now, I know you can mathematically, by the law of gravity, you can mathematically predict the force between the ball and the earth. It's the product of the mass of the ball times the mass of the earth divided by the distance squared between the centers of the ball, and it's proportional to a constant. That's Newton's universal law of gravitation. But why does the ball drop? When you get into that type of question, you're talking about a theory. Okay? That particular thing, as I have never heard a good theory yet that explains exactly why the ball is attracted to the earth. Now, I want you to know that some theories are good and some theories are not good. Okay? I'm not going to blast today the theory of evolution because it's a theory. I'm going to blast it for some other reasons. Okay? Now, for example, I taught chemistry for many years in secular college. I spent almost the whole semester on the atomic theory. I told the students, if I took a piece of aluminum, and I had a piece up here, if I tore that piece of aluminum in half, tore that in half, tore it in half, kept tearing it until I got the smallest particle of aluminum that has the properties of aluminum, that's known as a what? An atom, okay? I went on to further to say the reason why an atom of aluminum is different than, say, an atom of carbon is because the atom of aluminum has 13 protons. 13 neutrons, surrounded by 13 electrons. Now, I taught this for years. I have perhaps a lot of bad qualities, but one of the best qualities, or what I try to do, is be honest. I taught this for years. I taught that there was an atom. I taught there's protons, neutrons, electrons. I've never seen any of those. But yet, it's I believe, a good theory. If I was teaching chemistry again, it's the best explanation of why matter behaves the way it does. Okay, so a theory is explaining why or how. Now, I want to say that origin questions cannot be solved by the scientific method. The reason you can't answer origin questions, like what is the origin of the universe? When was the universe formed? What is the earth? When was the earth formed? How was it formed? When did man appear? What did the first man look like? Origin questions you can't answer scientifically. The reason is you can't observe origins. You can't experiment with origins. You can't verify origins. You can't repeat origins. Now, if I was to illustrate this, I think they want me to stand by the mic, but supposing I asked somebody the question, when were you born? Is anybody willing to answer me when you were born? When were you born? March 25th, 1983. That's an origin question. How do you know? Okay. She said birth certificate. Did she solve that scientifically? No. What method did she use? What is sometimes called reliable history. I want to say, though, that doesn't always work. I taught a student in Wisconsin State University. His name was Sunday Aiko. I said to Sunday, he was from Nigeria, I said, Sunday, how old are you? He said, I don't know. I asked him, when were you born? He said, I don't know, except it was on a Sunday. So they didn't keep birth certificates then. So what's another way to determine when, what is your name? Sheila? Sheila was born. What's another way? Who might you ask? Her parents. Which would you ask? The mother or the father? The mother. Why the mother? Is the father not honest? No. The father might have been away. Lots of babies were born during this past year where their fathers were in Iraq. Okay? So who should we ask? The mother. If her mother was here, your mother's not here, if I would ask her mother right now, when was Sheila born, she would give the same date. She would have a lot of details. If I ask her, how do you know? I've done this in audiences all over the country. If you ask, how do you know? She would say almost invariably, I was there. Okay? So when you want to answer origin questions, you ask the one who was there. Think about that for a while. Okay? Let's move on. We've showed you that this theory of evolution is not scientific. Now I'm going to show you some laws of science, established laws of science that the theory of evolution contradicts. Number one, the law of biogenesis. The law of biogenesis says that life only comes from other life. Okay? The theory of evolution proposes that somehow life came from non-life. Small inorganic molecules combine to form amino acids, which eventually form proteins, which eventually form living cells. This spontaneous generation has never been observed. Thus, it is not scientific. Okay. I only know of 3 documented cases of non-living things coming to life. They are Pinocchio, Gingerbread Man, and Frosty the Snowman. And I want to tell you that most scientists, and I believe Mr. Young also would agree that these reports are false. Okay? There are not 3 documented cases. There are no cases where inanimate objects have come to life. Sometimes people get the impression from the media that scientists are close to creating life. I want to say if I came here today and I had 3 or 4 bricks, and I came to the first people I met and I was so excited, I got 3 or 4 bricks. I've almost completed the rebuilding of the Twin Towers in New York City. What would you think? Guy's cuckoo, right? Right? Now I want to say that scientists have not come close at all passing a spark of electricity through some methane and some ammonia and some water and some hydrogen to produce some simple amino acids is not as close to the complexity of a living cell as 3 or 4 bricks is to a skyscraper. Okay. So even if scientists could synthesize life, it would not be living matter spontaneously generating life. Second law the theory of evolution contradicts is the law of kinds. The law of kinds simply says life begets like. Okay? What does that mean? That means if you have a bean plant, you get what? Beans. You get an orange tree, you get what? Oranges. You breed rabbits, you get what? Rabbits, right? And when Sheila was born, was your daddy there? When the doctor came out to announce Sheila's birth, he didn't come out and say, "We're so happy, sir. You are now the proud father of a baby alligator." No. She was a human because her parents were humans. Okay? Humans beget humans. Uh-oh, another exception.